Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Critical Reactions with your host, Bryan. We're going to do a special selection today, which is one of you tell me exactly what I need to check out. If you'd like to submit your own special selection, you can find a link for it in the description. Today's special selection is Greyhaven. Comes from Christopher, says you need to check out Echo and Dust Part 1. Alright, let's get into this. No context, no lead up. Don't know what I'm in for, but yeah, let's dive in. Greyhaven's Echo and Dust Part 1. Yes, boy! Yeah, this is catchy, has a fantastic hook. I love the mix between noise and melody. Everybody's killing it. Bass has great riffs. Right up there on the bell. I love those little pockets of silence to allow elements to breathe. Little falsettos thrown in there, and it's interesting we're also hearing harmonics on the guitars. Wow!
Oh, the road is lost. My teeth are gold.
yeah, there's no analysis for this one. Video's over. I got an album to listen to. I'm not gonna say which one. It's probably this one. I'm kidding, of course. Let's get into this analysis, but golly, that was right up my alley. That was so good. And the weird thing is, too, is there's a lot of dissonance and textural stuff going on, but it just, it worked for me. And the melodic elements I thought were great. Tons of harmony. And geez, it is catchy. It is just, it is a vibe. 100%. So let's dive into this. There's a quite, I don't know if there's quite a few things to talk about, but there's definitely stuff I wanna touch on before we end the video. And as usual though, this happens sometimes. I'm not gonna lie, I was not paying as critical attention to this track as I do with some other ones because man, I was just jamming along like Echo and Dust Part 2. That's another 5 minutes. Man, okay, let's talk about part 1. All right, we listened to part 1. Let's talk about it. We'll see what happens after that. Oh man, YouTube tempted me putting it in the suggested videos. All right, so right off the bat, these guys came in hard, came in heavy, and just they brought it. I talked about Dream Theater earlier this week being a band that introduces their songs with a thesis statement. It says, hey, this is what our song's going to be about. If you're here for it, stick around. If you don't enjoy this opening 30 seconds, there's the door. It's fine. We don't care. We're not here to waste your time. And I think this is another song that just perfectly encapsulates that writing style. They start off with 15 seconds or so of that quiet introduction into a build-up into the first section. And there's plenty of energy here. We get some nice vocal harmonies. We get a little bit of melodic elements in the guitar work. We see this explosive drumming, just snare to tom, just these massive sweeping fills, which was just, man, that is a way to open a song, right? Even pushing the idea away of thesis statement writing. They tell you that when you open up a song, you want to grab the listener's attention immediately. Now, there's a lot of ways to go about doing that. In modern days, a lot of mainstream music, we're seeing a lot of songs actually opening with the chorus now. It's the catchiest part. It's usually the most explosive part. It's called the hook for a reason. You want to hook people in. And so, songs are starting with that. Movie trailers these days are starting off with the most exciting sections for about 5 seconds before actually starting the trailer proper. It's kind of weird how we're starting to see this trend where we see the middle stuff happening at the beginning. So, but that's just one way to do it. I kind of went on a little side rant there. Catching people's attention, hooking them in early is a great way of actually getting people to listen through to your song. And man, guitars come in, vocals come in, the drummer's killing it with that thing. That is an explosive way to open a song and get people hooked immediately. That was just, man. And then the chorus comes in and we're still booking, we're still moving. There's still a lot of energy in here. And we start to introduce some vocal harmonies, if I remember correctly. I think there was actually a clean with sort of a quieter fry underneath it, a harsh vocal, but it was like really muted. It was more of a like getting that textural element, sort of sneaking it in underneath the vocals rather than being like a true harmony where they're both equals. And then, I mean, the song was just constant energy after that, moving between ideas of melodic strength, whether it was a guitar line that was leading the melody or the vocals that were leading the melody, and contrasting that with noisier sections. We got the harsh vocals, we got those really dissonant guitar slides, like hit a heavy dissonant dyad and then drop down to a low note and slide back. I think my hand's doing the opposite of what it should be doing. But yeah, that idea of getting your dissonance and then getting this wide sweeping slide down the neck or up the neck, and just being noisy rather than playing, theoretical music, creating that noise, and just bouncing back and forth between these ideas of melody and dissonance and noise. And they just do a fantastic job at balancing this, keeping the energy, the momentum, all of that constant throughout the track without ever feeling like, we just got done talking about with ISIS that they do a fantastic job with contrast. And I mentioned at the beginning of the video that contrast is not an end-all be-all. Every track is not better by introducing contrast. It helps if you really want to showcase an element, or if you want an element that might be losing some of its luster to be reignited. But here, these guys were moving at like 10 the entire time, and it was just these little moments, maybe a bar, maybe half a bar sometimes, of silence that created that contrast. So this is another way of keeping a song at the same level pretty much the entire time without losing any of the, without having the listener sort of get numb to being at that level, and really allowing it to retain its extremity. And like I said, they do a fantastic job with these micro elements of contrast. Whereas a whole, there really isn't a lot of contrasting elements throughout the song, but they use these little moments of silence to help elevate the loudness and the speed and the heaviness of the track. And I even mentioned that they do this not just in complete isolation where we have drops, because there were a couple of drops in this song where we would have a beat or two beats of silence and then the whole band comes in hard on the downbeat of the next bar. That happened twice, I think. But even within, I think it was the final chorus before we hit the outro segment, it was the third bar, and I think the first couple of beats, or maybe it was the last couple of beats of bar 2, everybody cut out except the vocalist and maybe the guitar, and it creates a micro pocket where you don't actually have to stop the whole song, but you can still get a contrasting element, both volume-wise, power-wise, width-wise, while still having the song continue to move. And it really is this little attention to details of knowing when and how to pull back the intensity for a fragment of a second so that you can retain, staying at 10 the entire track, or at least in hindsight where it feels like the entire track. They do a fantastic job of walking that line. Something else I want to talk about is the song structure. So when it started out, we were probably, I'd say about halfway through the song, maybe a little before halfway through the song, and I felt like I had it pegged as far as the structure goes. I was like, okay, we have a rock song. They have a little bit of grit to them. I don't know if this would push it into post-hardcore or metalcore. I'm not sure what subgenre this is going to go into, but it's rock, right? There's some heavier sections, but most of this is a very rock sound. And we had our intro that was short and led into some more energetic verse. Then we went into our chorus. I think that's how it started. Maybe we did start with the chorus after the intro and then went to verse and chorus. I actually don't remember now. But we do the verse, chorus, and then we go into a heavy middle section. I'm like, okay, I got a handle of this. We're gonna come out of this. This is our bridge. We're gonna come back for a final verse. Maybe there'll be a variation on it, and we'll do an outro. And maybe the outro is gonna be that drum fill from the beginning with the heavy tom use. And man, was I pleasantly surprised here. We did come back to the chorus, I think, after the bridge. But we introduced the chorus with a pre-chorus, which was actually the first verse in a new arrangement. And then on top of that, when the chorus ended, we entered into a new outro that actually had a pre-outro section to it. We actually had 2 new sections introduced in the last minute or so. And, Yeah, that was just that was a delight, and I think it really wrapped up sort of the intensity of the entire track too, by the final section being the heaviest. Um, just a really nice way to put, a period at the end of the sentence. We're not fading out here. We're not going to bring the intensity down for, a final moment. We're actually going to, you thought we were at 10. We've actually been at 9. We're going to push it to 10 for this final minute, and we're going to show you what we're really about. And yeah, that just works so well, especially with that final section having many little embellishments on it as well. We repeated it twice, I believe. That final vocal section, the final sentence of lyrics, or the 2 sentences of lyrics, whatever. There were 2 repetitions on it, and each repetition introduced a different idea. The first one was straight. The second one had some falsettos thrown in here and there. And it was really interesting that those falsettos were also doing a call and response with some harmonics in the guitar that were not there on the first repetition. That was really cool. Again, just a little bit of a detail of when and how to add in variation and to toe this line between melody and dissonance. Just a really good musical sense for that. And then the third repetition introduced a couple of pushes from the clean vocal into some grit, kind of getting a little bit putting a little bit of fry on some words or syllables before finishing the song out. And yeah, it is just, man, it is good. I absolutely love this. This is only a 16-minute video. Do I have anything else to say about this track? I think that might be my first question before we move on. I don't think so, just because I thoroughly enjoyed it. And like I said, I was jamming out with it more than I was critically listening, unfortunately. Let's do it. Echo and Dust Part 2. Who asked for this one? Christopher? All right, you're getting a 2 for 1. Consider this your lucky day. Yeah, really nice ornamentation in the drum work. I love this melody and the way that the guitar melody is playing off of the vocal melody. Just really nice counterpoint. And the vocal harmony on top of that. What? Pulled down a third, or was that a half? Yeah. Just a lot of rhythmic playfulness there between the drums and the guitar. So cut it in the half speed, make it heavier, and then they introduce the cymbals to give it a little bit of speed as well as some momentum. again, a little moment of silence help punctuate what's being stated while also providing a moment to breathe and allow the song that chance to have that bit of contrast. Getting real playful with that. And once again, putting the fry underneath the clean to give it that grit. So we had the retardando, which was actually taking energy away, while having the push into the fry, which is adding energy. Oh man. I like how the attack on the guitars is really bassy, but it kind of like fades in the treble aspect on the hits. Yeah, okay, so that was pretty cool. I don't know if I have a lot of different things to say about that one than I did part one, which I think was more or less extremely similar, even if it did have its own ideas. A lot of the things that I praised from part one are present in part two, and that's going to be the contrasting elements between the heavy and soft, although this one does introduce more full soft sections, so it doesn't feel like it's running at 10 all the time, but it's between that, the ornamentation, the layering, the way that they have really strong melody writing, especially we saw counterpoint there at the beginning with the guitar and the vocals, and just how they bring it all together and create, at least to me, once again, an extremely catchy track. Although in this case, the catchiness I felt was in some of the guitar work. I didn't really pick up on too much of the vocal work, but that could be because a lot of this had heavier vocals, and those just tend to be less catchier to me since they're rhythmic based rather than melodic based. So anyways, yeah, I also see that YouTube is recommending me the full album here from Empty Black. Well, the album is called Empty Black. So that is going in my listen list right now. Those are my thoughts on Greyhaven, Echo, and Dust, parts 1 and 2. This is where you guys come in. Let me know what you guys think. If you agree with me, if you disagree with me, if there's anything that you noticed that I didn't, go ahead and put those comments down there, and we'll have a bit of a discussion. Dang, I forgot the name again. Christopher. Dude, man. Such a good pick, and yeah, this is going to be a band I'm digging into and keeping an eye on from now on, so thank you a lot for that. When you're done commenting, guys, head up to the description box, and there's a link for Linktree. It'll take you to this menu right here. All sorts of stuff in here. Patreon, you want to submit your own special selection. You want to follow me on Twitter. You want to email me. Check out what I've been listening to. Check out what music I've been making. I don't know, all sorts of stuff. It's all in there above the description box. If you could, like, subscribe, and ring the bell. I greatly appreciate all three of those. That's it for today. I'll see you guys tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 10 p.m. UTC. As usual, we'll be looking at another excessive amount of blank song and a special selection, as we typically do on Wednesdays. Until next time, remember to be critical but not cynical of the music you listen to, and have a fantastic morning, afternoon, or evening, whenever you choose to watch my videos.